Good morning, Internet and fellow chatting chums. Today is Floral Friday, so I thought I wanted to make a simple arrangement today, possibly a purple and gold or a pink and gold, and it's based around the fact that I've been letting my fennel go to seed, and the fennel flowers are so lovely that I thought we'd cut some fennel flowers, and then maybe I would get some gomphrena and some zinnias from my garden and just do a very simple arrangement of those two colors. And then I would also like to share my latest sketch for the Chateau project I've been continually working on. The book that is not a book is what I've been calling it. So I'll share that sketch. It is just a rough sketch for another page idea. No color or anything has been added, but I wanted to show it and share it with you to see how what you feel about it. And then I also thought today would be fun if we got the Gelli plate out and did a little bit of printmaking. I think inspired by the flowers from today's arrangement and any other patterns or something we want to make, I would love to do a Gelli plate print today, and then I can scan it in this weekend, and next week I'm going to make one of my another new image in my Dogs on Chairs series, and we'll use the print we make today from our Gelli plate as the background. So let's get started with today, Floral Friday, with a simple arrangement of fennel flowers and purple, and I'll share my latest Lalande sketch, and we'll make fun Gelli plate backgrounds to use in drawings for next week. All right, let's get started. And here we have the sketch, really a scribble really, but as you'll see, it features Thor in the red dining room with our little protagonist, Ian number 4, standing on top of the white candelabra, and hanging from the candelabra is a lovely gown. And I thought maybe the storyline of this page would be that we find out that Ian number 4 isn't in fact an Ian, but is in fact an Isabella, or that we find out that peachick is actually a female, and that Thor is consoling her in that she's sad that she can't be brightly colored like her papa and the roosters and the other male birds, but he is telling her it's fine because she can wear lovely raiments of colors in a beautiful fabric, possibly Fortuny fabric. So I thought this would just be kind of a fun idea of playing with the idea of one of the peachicks, the main peachick, turning out to be a peahen. So that's the sketch for today in our book, which isn't a book, in the Lalande project. Back to the video. Although it looks like I've already made the flower arrangement, because of course in my usual manner I've bitten off far more than I can chew, and I'm making a flower arrangement, doing some printmaking, and sharing my Lalande drawing today. I've thought I would make this an easy floral arrangement, and what really made me think of it is as I was gathering it, I stuck it in this mason jar to set it aside for this vlog, and I thought, my, that's lovely just as is. And I thought, why don't I just have this flower arrangement be for anyone who wants to do a flower arrangement, but they might feel they can't do it, how easy it is, because the flowers are so lovely, they make anything look good. Now I think another thing that really helps in this situation is I went with a color theme. I knew I wanted gold and purples, and what made me choose those colors were the fact that the not dill, I'm sorry, although you could use dill. The fennel, I was letting my fennel flower, look how beautiful that fennel blossom is. So it was born on that, and then my gomphrena, which is a purpley pink, I thought, let's do a purple and pink together. So we have my fennel flowers, and these, look how lovely these are. This little bit of yellow, that is the seed of my rocket, a type of lettuce I've let go to seed because I also want to gather seed for more lettuce next year, and that's a yellow flower. And for another yellow is this is I think this is wild verbascum, which again in my part of the country it's considered a weed, although this actually could be dock, but I think it's wild verbascum. Now in England, again, I've seen verbascum grown intentionally in dry gardens, and of course it's quite dry here on the seashore. So this grows wild, but I love the flowers. So, and as I have a lot of wild in my garden, I thought, well, let's use these, and they definitely do well in water. And another bit of yellow I thought was fun is, oh heavens, is I have this lemon cypress. I have a lot of yellow foliage evergreens that I like because we have a winter garden, so I try to add winter interest. And this is such a pretty color that I thought, well, there's more yellow. And then of course, I know I use a lot of coleus, but I love coleus, and this is one of my favorites. I think it is either Black Magic or Wicked Witch coleus. I can't remember which. The reason I can't remember is this coleus is about 3 years old. Every year I dig up a few coleus plants that I love, and I make sure to bring them inside as a houseplant. And then I put them back out next year, and I take cuttings and grow more. So this arrangement is also going to be a cutting for me because I will get 2 more Black Magic, or whichever this coleus is, for next year. So that's more purple. And I actually have another digitalis that was flowering, which I was quite surprised. Just one of those. The beautiful zinnias in this purpley pink shade, which is very close to the gomphrena. And then, and then also Thai basil. Look how beautiful the purple is on that. So what I thought is, because I'm sticking with 2 colors, to make a really quick arrangement is whatever container. This is actually a funny old brass thing. One thing about living in an old house that family has lived in for generations is you're always digging in some cabinet and you find some random odd thing. In fact, this has genuine antique dust along the edges, I'm sure. I just found this morning and when I was going to look through some china, and I thought, I've never even used this before. It's just a funny old piece of brass. It could be from the 50s, or it actually looks kind of Victorian, you never know. So what I thought I would do to make this a very, very easy arrangement is you pick a color theme, in my case, purples and yellows, and you go out and you collect your flowers. And when you're collecting your flowers, as you're putting them in your hand, think about your hand as the vase. So I've cut these first, then I cut the lettuce, but see, I have maybe try to pick the longer things. And then now as I'm grabbing this bunch of flowers, I can, instead of just putting it in my hand, I put a purple there, I pick another zinnia, and I think, oh, my hand is the vase. Maybe that would be nice over there. And then some Thai basil. And I found a verbascum, and this is kind of high, so I thought, oh, see, again, this is just my hand grabbing it. And then I was surprised to find this digitalis. So I stuck that there. And now the reason I would just put that in that part of my hand is I'm still trying to distribute the colors here. So I know we have predominantly yellow as the base color. The purple I'm just kind of trying to make sure I spread it around. But again, this is just all in my hand. Another bit of verbascum maybe over here. And then and then our more gomphrena. And because I have a few pieces of gomphrena, and this is more of an airy plant, I kind of grab it around the outer edges of my hand because you want it to be around the outer edges of your arrangement. Again, this is still just all in my hand. I haven't put it into a vase yet. And then I found my lovely, another piece of Thai basil. Where's the other piece? There's a piece on this side, so I'll grab it on this side of my hand. Slightly symmetrical. Then I cut my beautiful coleus. So because I have 2, I'll put 1 on this side, 1 on that side, almost as if I'm making a bridal bouquet. This will probably be a one-sided arrangement, but as it's a tall container, I'll most likely put it against the wall. And then I thought, I need to use this lemon cypress. So I'll just grab those at the base. Since I have these 2 here, I'll put 1 there, and I'll grab this one and stick that here. Now all I've done is grab these into my hand. This is often the way when I owned my flower shop that we would put together rough or natural-looking bouquets for brides. So after that, now obviously I want it to fit in here, so I need to grab my scissors. And with the scissors, I can see here's the container I'm putting it into. Oh, there's a stray gomphrena. Let's stick that there. Again, this is all in my hand in this bunch, like this. And I know the container's about that tall. Always cut less to begin with because you can't add stems on. So I'm going to start by cutting it. It's about that height. I'm going to come down, little gomphrena down there. I'm going to cut maybe about that much. What is that, about 3.5 inches? Sorry, people who don't use our ancient measuring system, I have no idea how many centimeters that is. Cut that off. And of course you should be stripping the leaves, but I want this to be easy so it doesn't even matter. Grab a few leaves off. Now, plop that in there. And even without fussing about, look at how lovely and loose and blousy that is. I think it's lovely. So if you're intimidated and you think you can't do floral arrangements, and you can fuss around with it afterwards, but I'm leaving it because the whole point was to show you how easy I can go from having a handful of flowers to a lovely vase of flowers. Even this bit of lemon cypress hanging down, see, I love that because if I were to paint this balance here with this height here, this height of this verbascum and this lemon cedar down here, those 2 counterbalance each other are very, very good. So, and again, this was kind of how we would make bouquets for loose natural weddings when I owned my flower shop. We would build them in our hands, and then we would tape them and cut them. And they're quite popular. So that's today's floral arrangement. Very fast, but as I said, as I'm silly and I had to do basically 3 videos in one, I thought I'd make this a fast one. So on to printmaking, and I will see you at the end of the video as well. Okay, so let's get started. First and most important thing is the cup of tea, which any other artist or creative people out there, I'm sure we've all done this. You have your tea or your coffee sitting here, and then you have something, particularly if you're doing watercolor or such, and the brush goes in the tea and the coffee instead of the clear water. And I'm sure just as many of you out there have still thought, it's not that bad, I'll still drink it anyway. So I want to start with, and as our floral arrangement is in yellows and purples, I thought maybe we could do kind of the yellow-purple color range. We'll see. So I'm going to just start with a sort of I don't have any bright yellow with me right now. I don't know why, and I don't feel like going out to my outdoor studio, so this is what we're doing. Wow, that's a lot. So it's just sort of a cream, and this is just an inexpensive, I haven't even opened it yet, an inexpensive acrylic. I probably got it at Michael's. It's in an ochre tone. So I'm going to use this. Right now I'm sort of just using this as the palette to kind of get the color I want. Obviously you could use the color straight out of the tube or out of the container if you chose. But I wanted a good base color that had a gold feel to it. This feels goldish. So let's see what we come up with here. Now, let's use our roller and spread this color. And again, you don't want it too thick, that's why I kind of wipe some of it off with the brush, although I realize this must have something on it. So I'm covering the plate with my ochre gold color here. And again, this does not have to be perfect, because that's what I love about printmaking, is embracing the imperfection. So now what I thought is the first pass, or the beginning of the background of what I thought we could work on today, is using the tool I used before, which is like this little rocker tool that gives you a wood grain. So I wanted to start with a wood grain. So we can just kind of pull this, depending on how much you pull it one way or the other, gives you how many knots you have. So we have the wood grain there, and so what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my little palette we have here with the paint I saved, which I actually think I've changed my mind about the color I'm going to use there. Instead, I'm going to make a lavender shade, so I'm going to take some of this pink and a little bit of this blue, which I love, obviously, since I'm wearing it and it's on my nails. And I think we can get sort of a grayish purple from this. Which I'm liking. And then, yeah, see how that looks next to that gold? So with that, let's put some stripes on this before we pull our print. So we have our wood grain, so let's put a stripe down it. And another stripe. Somewhat measured, but I mean, honestly, it's not a science, it's just printmaking. So that's just our base little pattern. Again, I like the imperfections. So let's take our piece of paper, place it as deftly and as centered as possible. Once it hits, you're committed. And then we are going to press down. Where's our roller? Give this a good roll. I should have taken the paint off my roller first, but that's fine. This is going to be taken digitally anyway. So for our first pass, we have, oh, it's not too bad. And now we could get a ghost print. Oh, I like that. So that turned out really well. So as you see, because we put down the wood grain first, I'm sure this isn't showing up very well. Because we put the wood grain first and then put the lavender on top of it, the lavender now sits below the wood grain because it is, of course, on top. And this is reversed. So we'll let that dry. And we might as well get a ghost print of this, a ghost print being the second print from what's left from your first pass. Because this could also be very lovely and maybe one we want to use as well. Let's press that down. Really try to get the impression off there. And let's see what we have for a ghost print. Sometimes the ghost prints aren't that great, but sometimes you get something really wonderful. Oh, that's actually quite nice. Oh, can you hear the crows outside? That's actually quite lovely. The lighting isn't very good. I have lighting set up, but it looks really good. When I scan it, I'll be able to show it to you. Okay, for the next print, we're going to use the straight blue color we have here, because I thought that shade would look lovely with these three colors here, because basically it's almost like primary colors, but step down on this side, because we have the blue and the yellows and the bluey purples. Okay, so let's roll this out. I just like this straight rich color. Now for this, I took some of my beautiful hydrangea blossoms that are drying in the garden. I love them when they turn this chartreuse green. But usually they're pretty heavy duty. Now with our first pass, we're going to take all the blue off of the plate onto this and leave the blue under the leaves and the flowers we have there. So we're really going to press hard if we can, because we want the impression of the flower to get down onto the jelly plate. Okay, let's do that. See what we have if we've got all the ink off. And this, of course, I think that's lovely. That can be used. That's the negative space print. And now, I don't know if these were pressed hard enough, but if we lift this up, there should be impressions of the flowers underneath. Let's take this off. I'll probably speed this up. And then with our dried print, I'm actually going to use the ghost print, or the second print we made with our first one, because the other one is heavier and I like it as it is. This one has a light enough impression that I think what I'm going to get from this laying on top of that will be quite lovely. So here's the experiment. We shall find out. Okay, let's see what we have. And there you have it. The impressions of flowers and leaves floating above a background. And I rather like those colors, but now the advantage of this is once I scan this, we can manipulate the colors any way we like. But I think it's, I really like these colors, so maybe I would heighten them saturation a bit in Photoshop, and then we'll do our artwork for this coming week on here. Okay, so that's it for printmaking. I think that will do it for us today here on Floral Friday. I think we did pretty good. The drawings and I think the jelly plate print turned out pretty good. So now I just need to decide what style or what breed of dog to put in the chair. So I'm going to be scanning that print this weekend and working on the Animal and Chair series with that as a background. So you could comment what type of dog breed you'd like me to use, and we'll see which one I choose. That could be fun, actually. And I hope you enjoyed. I kind of would like to stick with Floral Friday, although I'm taking it pretty loose. Like, obviously today's arrangement was quite simple. But I just was inspired the other day when I saw my fennel flowering. I thought, I knew I was saving it for seed, but I could give it some of the flowers. And but yes, I hope you're enjoying the progress of my blog, and I hope you enjoyed the sketch for the next chateau project, the secret chateau project, the book which is not a book. It's like he who should not be named. Anyway, that's still a fun project, but I still need to keep working on my other artwork as well, so I figure that makes perfect sense to tie it together, and it's such an inspiration this way to use your input as well as the things we do together. And I thought making jelly plate prints just fits really well with Floral Friday, particularly today since we use the used flowers and botanical things as part of the patterning and making the jelly plate print. So all right, well, I guess that's going to do it for us today, and I hope you enjoyed, and remember to like, subscribe, and share. I think I'm supposed to be saying that, not just typing it on the screen. It's hard to learn all the rules to being a YouTuber. So thank you for joining me. I will see you on Monday. Of course, I'm going to see you this weekend in all the chats, Chateau Lalande, doing it ourselves if that's available, Escape to Rural France, Thomas if he has that as well, or anywhere else. And I'll be seeing you there. That's why I've been calling you my chat chums, because I feel I speak with so many of you that way in the chat. That's quite fun. All right, well, thank you for joining me another day here on An Artist's Life, and I will see you on Monday, and I will see you around in the chats, and I'll see you then. Cheers.